So now everything I say is going to be on the record. You'll have this to blackmail me with.
Everything you say is now on the record.
Everything bothers him.
He's unbothered.
He calls it unbothered, but that's what's cute because everything bothers him. He's bothered. I'm a botherina.
So you're mainly concentrating on the road, and then you've got Wrong Crowd.
I do have Wrong Crowd, the podcast. Everybody can go over to my YouTube channel. Leonarda is funny. I do brush my hair for that.
I'll probably edit this and put it at the beginning so people get all of this information at the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah, because that makes more sense.
Yeah, so I got Wrong Crowd. You know, people can follow my Twitter, Leonarda_Jonie, Jonie. But if you report me, I mean, you're a snitch.
Yeah.
It's for the fun of it, okay? We're having fun.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Unbothered by Ty Rivera. That's right, it's Unbothered by Ty Rivera. The slumber party has been over. If you're here for slumber party, you're in the wrong place. Because this is Unbothered by Ty Rivera. And I'm not having any lip about it. I don't care what anybody wants to say. If you want to talk smack, notice I said smack. That's because we're not in the time yet where I can say whatever I want here on YouTube. I got to wait for a little while. You ever wonder why there's 10 minutes of dead air before every live you watch? That's because they're trying to cheat the system. I respect it, but it's not what I do. But, yeah. So, if you want to talk smack, what I was going to say is include a little super thanks with it, because the cheapest ones are always the loudest. That's what I noticed. So step up your money game and then say whatever you want. But a lot of you, that's why you get your comments deleted. That's why you type just for the hell of it, because I quickly delete your comments if I don't like what you're saying and it doesn't come with money. If it comes with money, I'll leave it up because I'm like, well, you paid your way, you can say your way. Anyway, we have a first-time guest here at Unbothered by Ty Rivera. I say that because this person was very popular when they did Slumber Party, but there's what? No Slumber Party anymore. So everybody, say hello to the one and only Twitter's own, X's own.
That's not true. I've deleted my X account.
That is a lie.
I no longer exist. Listen, my X account was hacked about 4 to 6. When did I start making anti-Semitic tweets? 4 to 6 months ago?
I don't know, but you took off right around the same time. Oh.
So somebody, see, because that's how you know it was hacked, because I would never know how to do that.
You really took off. You really did become a thing on X. How did that happen anyway? I mean, like, was there a plan, or were you just being silly and tweeted something and it took off?
I was hacked and somebody went in and started making a bunch of racist tweets and things against women and the Jews. And apparently that's what the internet wanted. So I didn't try to get my account back for a while because I was like, well, let this person have fun, whoever they are. It might have been Fernanda.
I hate you so much. I really do hate you so much. I hate you. I hate Fernanda. I hate your whole...
Well, Fernanda is a wild person and I can't control her. So she went in, she said what was on her mind, and apparently there were a lot of men who were waiting for a woman like Fernanda to come into their lives. Fernanda! It's like that Lady Gaga song, remember? Fernando, but it was about a girl.
That's Alejandro.
Whatever, man. It's
Fernando
all
is
to me.
What's it called? Isn't that ABBA? There was something in the air.
Fernando. Yes, you're correct. That's
Fernando.
Listen.
Do you hear the drums, Fernando?
That's a great song. I love that song.
It is. It is a great song.
So anyway, I think that's what happened.
Make sure.
No, there was no plan. Do I look like a woman with a plan?
Look
at me. I didn't. Yeah, you definitely don't have a plan. You left your anal beads hanging on the door.
They're not anal beads. They're I got laid in Hawaii.
What's the difference?
They're a one lay.
No, he's got, I mean, the size of those, I know those are going in your butthole.
No, they're not.
Okay.
That's disgusting. And I told you already, I wouldn't hang up from the door. Could you
it was-
imagine if that was like my calling card?
Yeah, I thought that's how you welcome guests into your
Yeah,
house.
guys come over and I'm like, you play your cards right.
You'll get a couple of these.
You see those beads hanging over there? They ain't some Hawaiian lake kid.
You know, I'm not some Hawaiian lake kid.
Spicy Mexican.
Yeah, so I didn't brush my hair for this pod. I'm sorry to everybody who's used to me looking amazing, but
Yeah, we do have a certain expectation. When you showed up and your hair looked like that, I was like, what? What is happening? Where is the hair?
well, you know what's happening? I'm traveling a lot and I'm tired. Okay? I just came back from the Comedy Cabin in Janesville, Wisconsin.
Why do I have shit everywhere? Why didn't I at least
You know what? You didn't clean up. I didn't do my hair. We're made for each other.
the remote control? What am I doing? Gonna watch TV? Well, Jesus.
You know what?
Christ.
Maybe you should put it on. Your audience will be more entertained by that.
Probably.
Yeah.
This ain't doing it. Clearly, this ain't doing it.
I like that you wore your Trump shirt for me because you know how I feel about Zionist shills.
Do you not like Donald Trump?
No,
What's-
I actually love him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fan. I think he needs to go harder. You know, people are like, oh, he's racist. He's misogynist. I'm like, more.
He damn near lost me the other day. I know this could affect my following.
Did
me
he?
even saying
How did
this.
he almost lose you?
Well, I'll tell you something first really fast,
Okay.
how my life works. I know I got to watch what I say about Donald Trump.
Yeah, man, that's our hero.
I know. I found that out one day when I told my mother something that I wasn't happy with that he had done. And I don't even remember what it was that he had done. But I just told her because, you know, I always say everything. So I was like, yeah, I don't really agree with, you know, something. And I wish I could remember because I would say I don't care. But, and my mom was like, well, he's your president. And if you don't like it, you can go back to your country.
Your immigrant moms.
My mom's not even an immigrant. We're all from Arizona.
Oh, that's funny.
Well, my dad
Because you
was-
were criticizing Trump and she said that to you?
Yeah.
She said he's your president. I like that your mom still thinks he's president.
No, it was when she was.
when he was, okay.
Yeah, I have a real, you know, I have a real Trump family. Well, there's one sister that I think doesn't care about anything.
Okay, well, we can accept that.
And then I have another sister that I think she was Hillary, but she was smart enough not to say it.
Smart.
You know, because that's the kind of family we live in where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, if we outnumber you, you keep your thoughts to yourself. We're real free speech until
Oh, really, huh?
yeah, it's the world I live in.
Yeah, well, welcome to that's actually the reality with most people. They pretend to be free speech until you say something they don't like.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I mean, listen, I get it. I have you know, I don't have that kind of power, but if I did, I would get rid of a lot of people.
Yeah, well, the thing with me is you can say anything you want. It just there'll never be a consequence as far as I go. Like I would never do anything to anybody for saying something that I didn't like.
Yeah, well, that's
But,
because you don't have any power right
You
now.
know, well, you know, even if I was truly powerful, I wouldn't care. I just the more I do, the less I care.
So you know what it is that we need? We need a gay dictator. And I think it's time for you to be the gay dictator. But here's the deal. If you're going to be a dictator, you've got to put me in charge of a few things.
Like what? Not the presidential Twitter.
You know how many followers you would
Sir,
have?
your engagement is through the
My
roof.
engagement. They'd be like, yeah, they're calling you an anti-Semite, but oh my God, the interactions are out of control. You're like, let the crazy bitch do what she's doing.
Is that pulling in the numbers? Because if it's pulling in the numbers,
Are they voting for us?
I might be. you
Next
know,
election
like,
cycle, then okay.
that'll be my answer to everything. Is it bringing in numbers? Because I might be. Sir, apparently you're racist according to your Twitter. Well, what's the engagement looking like?
Thank you. That's my whole thing. You know what I mean?
Are we
Why,
monetized?
why do we have values that we're not making money off of?
Well, that's been my problem with a lot of people as of late is I don't care if people talk about me and I don't care what people do, but I just don't understand why none of it's monetized.
Right.
You know, because some of the people that I've called out and stuff do have podcasts, and I think that would be, I think it would really be fun for the comedy audience, to tell you the truth, if they had like a beef. Like, look at what's happening with Kendrick Lamar and Drake.
Why don't we be Kendrick and Drake?
Well, because
You be
then-
Drake because you're gay.
I hate you. Then who would I talk to?
Well, it's all it's all a show anyway. You know, you could pretend to get offended by one of my many homophobic tweets. There's a lot. You could just take your pick.
Do you have homophobic tweets as well?
Yeah, have you not seen them?
You know, my thing with X is I really need to be on it more, but I haven't. Back in the day when it was still Twitter and it was still Jack Dorsey's Twitter,
Yeah.
like in the thick of it,
Right.
it was the same as, because, you know, I don't really mess with Facebook. I post like maybe once a day. If I put a video out, I'll
Yep.
post just to let my people know. But they became so not fun
They're
because
so
they
not
had
fun.
so many, like, you know, there was one time not too long ago, like within the last year and a half or something like that. That's when I really got tired of Facebook, because I got suspended on Facebook for something that I had posted, no exaggeration, 5 years ago.
I mean, that's ridiculous.
And it wasn't even like one of those things where somebody found it and it caught heat and it was, you know, getting momentum again.
Right.
And people were responding to it. Nobody had responded to it in a long time. It was dormant completely. And I guess Meta updated their AI and it started going retroactively through things.
That's like communism, where they make a law today and that makes your behavior in the past illegal.
Yeah, and so I ended up getting, suspended. I don't remember if it was 30 days or something like that. But, you know, the game here in Austin, if you're actively on the scene, is Instagram. You know, that's what everybody's on.
Right.
So when that happened with Facebook, it didn't affect anything in my life because it was like nobody here is posting on Facebook anyway, and I rarely post on it.
Right.
So, you know, it was just one of those annoying things where it made me like, yeah, I don't really. And so Twitter was a similar thing back in the day where I got suspended on there, and, you know, went to Twitter jail, as they like to say. And then I was just like, yeah, they don't let me say what I want to say. Every time I think something's funny, I get in trouble.
Welcome to my life. I can read some of them for you.
I hate you so much.
I have a couple.
How did your Twitter happen, though?
I don't know. I just started posting things that I thought were funny and outlandish. And apparently people also thought they were funny and outlandish.
Yeah.
And I just let myself be a crazy person. I was like, well, I'm just going to play the character of a crazy person who just, you know, like your crazy aunt that you come over and it's like, the gays are at it again.
And then, so how do you, because your ex, it says on your bio, is Satire.
Yes.
And so then how do you navigate that when people take something too seriously? Do you just tell them?
I said, read the bio. I'll usually tweet, read the bio. Now, here's a funny thing. Okay. The Tate brothers follow me on X.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted something that was funny. Oh, I said something about, I guess I said something like, I don't care what color is your Bugatti. What color is your wife? Something, it was one of those tweets that I was doing. It was my racist day. You know, I take different days for different things.
Yeah.
And Tristan Tate had responded to it with like laughing, like a laughing gif.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. And then somebody under that wrote, what color is your dad? And like, she's a racist or whatever. And then he wrote back, read her bio, idiot.
Okay.
Right. So
Yeah.
this happens a lot and then you go read my bio and it's like pure satire. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Right. And that's to let people know, like, don't take anything I'm saying seriously.
Yeah.
I'm having fun. Unless, you know, you like me better if it's serious, then take it seriously. I don't do whatever you want, you know? If it makes you hate me, then don't take it seriously. And if it makes you love me, then I believe it.
Yeah.
And that's my rule. And it's like, if people that know me in my life know what I'm really like, I mean, I have a gay friend and I'll stone him as soon as Sharia law comes in, but because we're going that way. And
Who's your gay friend?
I can't talk about him.
I'm trying to
He's not out the closet yet.
Really?
Yeah, it's not you. You're a fat.
That's what I am. That is exactly what I am.
Yeah. I forgot. Oh man. I was on a podcast with you. So I have attracted the extreme right, and they're not as bad as everybody says they are. I mean, yes, they want to get rid of everybody who's not straight and white, and they want to take away women's right to vote. But a lot of this stuff, it's stuff we can compromise with. And, somebody commented I made a homophobic tweet. I said, you can't get gay married. You're just two dudes butt fucking.
Yeah.
Which is not an untrue statement.
It's not.
And somebody was like, didn't you appear on a podcast with a sodomite? And that's you.
Jesus. I always hate when I get called a sodomite.
I'm like, he doesn't take it up the ass. He just gives it. That's why we can be friends. It's different.
I have so much fun with that word, when people say it, but at the same time, it's always because it's so biblical.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's such a biblical, sinful word.
Yeah.
And then you have to come face to face with the fact that you are disobeying God's law.
Yeah, well, that's also the fun of it. You know what I mean? Like, people don't get it. It's like, what's your idea of bad? You have blue hair? You know what I mean? Like,
you're like, try being a sodomite.
Yeah, try doing something biblical. It's wrong biblically.
Try doing something that literally got 2 cities wiped off the face of the earth. Try that. Oh, blue hair. Oh, you're going to really make God mad with that.
So San Francisco, New York, just like...
Out. Yeah,
those were the 2 cities, right? It's called AIDS.
God's trying to send people signs and nobody wants to listen.
I tell people, God may not hate fags, but he definitely doesn't want us to have fun.
Not in that way. He's like, look, I may have made you gay. It was your personal challenge to fight. And then he's like, I didn't make you gay. That was your uncle.
AIDS, monkeypox.
I think monkeypox was a psyop. I don't know what that was. I feel like it was just like gay herpes.
I don't know exactly what a psyop means.
Psychological operation.
Yeah?
Yeah, it means it's created by usually the CIA, sometimes Mossad. Sometimes they work together. And they create something fake to kind of run a psychological test on people or to make them think something's real that's not real,
What is Mossad?
Mossad is the Israeli CIA.
Okay.
So we have the CIA that works in America. That's their spy their intelligence agency for Israel.
And what is a Zionist?
A Zionist is somebody, you don't have to be Jewish. There's Christian Zionists who believe in the right for Jewish people to have their homeland in Israel.
Okay.
Yes. Not all Jews are Zionists. Not all Zionists are Jews.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know any of that stuff.
I know. We all know. Nobody would go to you for foreign policy.
I'm so glad. Every year, I'm like, please don't come to me for foreign policy. It's like when you're in school and you don't want the teacher to call on you. It's like
there's somebody with like a freaking clipboard and got people to ask, and it's like Ty Rivera, Israel-Palestine conflict. They're just listening to this. They cross it off.
I'm like,
I
well,
guess not.
I'm like, are they still arguing?
Can't you guys just butt fuck and get it over with?
That's the way I feel about all this stuff, to tell you the truth. Not butt get over with, but I do really feel like with a lot of that stuff, nobody should ask me ever, because I personally think all of it should just be blown up.
You know what, though? You probably have a lot of support for that.
Yeah, I just feel like if you guys can't figure it out in this long, then just level it all, and then you guys can stop fighting, because I'm tired. You know what I mean? Like,
you're like the parent who, like, the kids are fighting over a toy and you just shoot both of the kids.
Yeah,
You're like, well, since you guys couldn't stop fighting.
all of it.
Yeah.
I'm just tired of it. I just don't understand. Like, because at some point, and I don't care what anybody says, I know I don't have that kind of audience anyway. You guys are learning along with me. Don't act like any of you are this smart. Watch me not navigate this conversation. Watch me and then realize how bad you would be at it. This is why we don't talk, you guys. Botherinas, you know, we don't pretend to be smart people. That's not been our brand this long. It's not going to be our brand. We're going to
When we
stay
start
in our
talking
catty
about
lane.
trans rights and all that, you'll be back in the game.
I excel. I shine.
I know. That's your department. My department is, see, the way you feel about Israel and Palestine, where you just want to level the whole thing, that's how I feel about people who can't decide what body they're in.
Well, you know, there's...
Since you can't make a choice, we'll just level you.
Well, in all fairness, they usually do that to themselves.
Right.
So,
but I'm just helping the process.
I think all parties are just as unhappy, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, so why are you making the rest of us miserable?
Oh, well, I've been trying to figure that out for years too. I don't get it
Yeah,
either.
well.
But you know, there's good people on all sides, as our leader would say.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Donald Trump. But
He's great. He's entertaining as can be.
and you know that, like, I don't know why people can't understand that, because I've been telling people forever, because you know they ask me questions, they'll try to grill me about it, and the thing is, he's fun TV, and that's all I need from a president, because all of them have proven to do absolutely nothing anyway.
Correct. Well, that's because they're all controlled by Zionists. So.
What? I just found out what a Zionist is. So
if you want to know what the deep state is Zionists. That's it. You can't say it because it's anti-Semitic, but that's what it is.
Really?
Yes.
And then where does so then there's the people like Jeffrey Epstein and Diddy.
Correct.
That
So now,
basically blackmail.
well, hold on a second. Jeffrey Epstein and Diddy are actually not the head of the organization. That's what people don't understand. Jeffrey Epstein is a Mossad agent. So Mossad and the CIA used Jeffrey Epstein to get blackmail information on our elected officials so that they vote and institute public policy the way that Mossad and the CIA want it, which oftentimes is favorable to Israel. So if you try to vote against any of the policies they want, they go, hey, remember that time you diddled that 7-year-old? You want everybody to see it? Because it's going to be you. It's going to be your head on a platter.
Mm-hmm.
Diddy, I think, was the Jeffrey Epstein of the rap and hip hop community. He's doing that for a bigger thing. Because we got to remember, it's the same way that your elected officials have all this power. Your celebrities have all this power. Now, the people that are in charge can't let you have all that power without anybody having power over you. Because who knows what you'll do? Who knows what you'll talk about? Who knows how you'll bring the whole operation down? So before Meek Mill gets a record deal where he's going to have all these loyal followers, they know what it is, right? Because once you get fans, they're with you. So if you come out and you say some shit, your fans are going to be with you. Well, we got Diddy ramming you in the ass, Meek Mill, so have fun with that.
Unless you're Nicki Minaj.
Why, unless you're Nicki Minaj? You think
Because
they don't have
then
her?
you've already fucked yourself so many ways, all they got to do is remind you.
How has she fucked herself? I don't know much.
Nicki Minaj's husband, which there's rumors that he no longer lives with her, you know, that they have basically kind of separated.
Right.
But that's a rumor. That's purely
Confirmed.
rumor.
Okay.
But the thing is, he had like a sexual assault charge when he was younger.
Okay.
And then he was in prison for quite a while for it. Then he got out, and then him and Nicki got back together.
Okay.
And so people love to remind her of that because it's like, your husband, you know, and they tried different things where they tried to like at a point bribed the girl to no longer to say that she had lied all those years ago. And she
Right.
was like, no, this happened, And so there was that. And then they went to bullying, once they realized that wasn't going to happen. And so that became public, that was happening, or, the woman was alleging that was happening. So then Nicki Minaj's brother has apparently diddled some kids, or a kid. I don't know if it was one or several or what it was. But Nicki Minaj was putting money on his books and paying for his legal.
So it's so interesting because there's so many parallels to your life, but nobody ever tried to offer you money to get you to be quiet about, some of the videos you made, which we don't have to talk about.
The videos you
Because they know you're just not going to do it,
Yeah.
Although I think you would do it for the right price. So you guys didn't think this through. And see, but sometimes that's how they get you too. They'll get people that are close to you to do stuff, because that's going to be, also a blackmail leverage.
Yeah, one day what I'm gonna do is make a video of all the different ways everybody screwed themselves in my situation. Because there were so many ways that they really could have been smarter about the way that they did it,
Right.
where I just would have been like,
They could have offered you a couple of G's. I mean, would have been fine, but
easily.
I know you would have taken that.
Of course.
You're not a man of principles.
Not at all. Who are we lying to? My botherinas know it.
Yeah, just send him a super. You could have just sent him a super thanks. It could have been a super thanks, and he would have been like, all right.
No, I'd be shooting from a different location. That's how the botherinas will know something's up. If I'm being real chill and just completely different surroundings, just all of a sudden, like, when did he get that place? It'll be like, I love everybody, you
And
guys.
then you're like, so let me tell you why I love Tony.
Let me tell you how much I love the Tom Brady roast
Yeah.
and what I loved about it. Just like,
I'm just going to break it all down for you. This is genius level commentary.
Bert Kreischer was the best thing. And they'll just be like, all right, he's been bought off clearly.
This guy. Yeah, whenever you hear me being like, they are the chosen people, I've been bought off.
Yeah, you've been bought off.
I've been bought off.
Yeah. Well,
And I have a price,
everybody should.
And we're not talking low stakes. I know you guys have lots of money. You freaking make it. So
Yeah.
you can't be the ones printing the money and then trying to buy me for a couple of G's.
Oh, but I'll go for a couple of G's.
You don't understand the way the world works.
I don't have
And
to.
you're not dealing with the people who literally own the Federal Reserve. I am.
Yeah, my people just own Austin.
Barely.
Barely. Well, that's one of the saving graces of being in Austin, though, is that Texas has so much money and Texas is so much its own thing that as much as everybody would like to, nobody will ever have true power in Texas. There's always going to be a cap on it because Texas is Texas. That's why they'll fight with the federal government.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I know enough about the fucking politics to know that.
But you know who they won't fight with?
Who?
The Zog.
Who's the Zog? What's the Zog?
Zionist occupied government.
Jesus Christ.
It all comes back.
I hate her so.
Greg Abbott said he stands with Israel. I said, you don't even stand.
That's what I was going to say. Craig Abbott doesn't stand with anyone. Oh, now you'll stand?
I have it on good authority that the tree that hit him was Jewish.
I hate you so much. If not, it was bribed by a Jew.
That's correct. What's it gonna take for you to take this guy out? Huh? A couple of shekels over here.
Could you imagine somebody trying to buy you off and then trying to barter with you at this? It'd just be like, are we going to do this or not? I can't
So
go.
you said 3 million. I'm so happy we're coming to a deal of 2.5 million. So we're very happy that you're taking 2 million for us. And 1 million, it's really not a lot of money, but it is for you. And you're like, what the?
You just
All of a sudden you walk away with $100. You're like, this is worse.
yeah, I just might as well.
know.
I should have just talked.
I should have just talked. I should have just ran my mouth.
Yeah, I should have just talked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't think about a lot of that stuff because it's
to be you. Ignorance is bliss. I wish I could just shut it off. I wish I
dare
could. It would
you.
be so easy. You'd be like, of course. Of course we live in a democracy that's run by white Christians. Of course we do. And then you got to know the truth. They're killing white Christians.
I'm already getting bummed. You
I-
see why I like living the way I live?
see. Now you understand why I have to be on antidepressants.
Well, now you see why I don't.
And my antidepressants, I mean, cocaine. Now you understand why I have to constantly do cocaine with Uncle Laser.
Oh, Uncle Laser. I wonder how Uncle Laser's doing. He's a person that I genuinely like.
He's a person who also doesn't think about things.
Yeah, I know. why- That's probably why I like
Yeah,
him. That's probably why we're cool.
I don't get it, man.
I'll tell you who I really like.
Who?
Because I always talk about who I don't like.
I
but
know.
Who I really like is I do like Uncle Laser.
Yes.
I do like Gary Faust.
Yes, Gary's a great guy. I like
I
Gary.
love Bobby Flacco.
Bobby Flacco. Yes. Gary knows about all this stuff. Gary thinks about it.
Yeah, I know. Gary is
That's why
actually
he's
a
always
super.
on like Adderall.
Yeah, he's a super, super smart guy,
Yes.
which most people would assume he's just like a party guy or,
Yeah, he's a wild man.
He is, but, he's very
Very smart.
smart, and I know that. But, yeah, those guys are who
Yes,
I like.
Yes. Cool guys. Nice
Yeah,
guys.
but, I never, like, if I want to talk to them, I know I can, and every once in a while we'll exchange a stray doesn't matter DM. It's
Yeah.
never anything like deep or anything like that. But those are guys that if I were to reach out to anybody to be like, let's go hang out or that would be the people that I would hit up, especially Gary.
Yeah, Gary's chill, man.
Gary and Bobby I would hit up for sure. And then, I know Laser would probably end up coming along just because if they're there, he's probably going to show up too. But yeah, Gary and Bobby I really like.
Good guys. Yeah.
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 But, I don't really think about a lot of that stuff just because it's not within my control in any way, and it's also like out there as far as everything that I think about, it's like I just worry about me and what
Right.
I have to be doing because that's going to continue to go the way it goes. And I like also not knowing too much because then nobody wants me for anything.
What do you mean nobody wants you for anything?
Well, the people that all know too much is exactly like you're saying. Like, then they want to, like, find ways to trap them and find
Right,
ways to make
right.
sure that they have leverage on them.
Right.
Where if you're a person like me, they're like, what are we going to do with that idiot?
He doesn't know shit.
Yeah, and then I'm just sitting there like, huh?
They bring you in a room and it's like, what do you know about the War of 1947? And you're like, I thought I was meeting a guy off of Grinder here. Wait, do you mean Todd's not? I knew this was too good to be true.
What war happened in 1947, you guys? That's all I'm going to be like. I don't know what war happened in 1947. I don't
Are
even
you
know.
talking about World War II?
Yeah, I know I have a grandpa that lost his arm in the French Revolution, I think it was, or the Mexico's revolution with the French. He lost his hand.
Wow.
Yeah, my grandpa on my dad's side, and he had a hook.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Did he use that when he molested you?
I hate you so much.
That's why you have those anal beads.
I
hanging on your
never
door.
met my grandpa. He
Oh.
died before I was old enough. I mean, like, I'm told
Yeah.
that he got to see me.
Yeah.
But I never actually was aware when he was around.
Yeah. Both of my grandpas died before I was even born.
Yeah, and he was a very hardworking man, and even with the one hook, because it would, like, those were He was Mexican. He was an immigrant,
Yeah.
like he was Mexican. And they had, I think my dad's from a family of 13.
If I was a time traveler, I would go back and I'd meet your grandpa and I'd say, go back. Your grandson's going to be a faggot. You lost your arm for nothing. Turn around.
He's going to say, no hablo inglés.
I'm like ranting and raving. I'm like, don't you understand? You're helping the Zionist government right now.
He's just gonna be like,
What?
yeah, my grandpa, I don't think he spoke English at all. Yeah, and
I poquito hablo español.
that's never gonna work with Mexicans.
I hablo poquito español. Yes, it would, because I got a fat ass. They don't care.
I hate you so much.
You think they always humor me? They're like, "Wow, your Spanish is so good. Now turn around.
You're a Spanish.
Your Spanish is so good."
I tell people that all the time. No speaking spinach. Because that's the way I say it. So no
Do you speak
speaking
Spanish?
No.
Wow, I speak Spanish actually.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Sincero.
I hate you so much.
De verdad.
Verdad.
Yo hablo poquito español.
I understand quite a bit of it, and especially if it's like, if it's a Mexican from Mexico, I need them to slow it down.
Because they go real fast.
Yeah, they speak so fast that I
Yeah.
can't distinguish the words. But like if they talk to me like in a normal,
Yeah.
then I can understand everything they're saying, but I can only respond in English because I don't really understand the verb tenses and
I
and
got you.
one thing I don't like about being Mexican is when you're Mexican, like if a person like you tries to speak Spanish because you're not Mexican,
I resent that comment.
they'll be patient with you and cool.
Right, but they're like, come on.
They'll laugh at me. They're not nice about
Yeah,
it,
it's the same. Any culture, Albanians are like that.
What do Albanians speak?
Albanian.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And do you speak any of that at all?
Of course.
Yeah? Are you good at it?
Fluently.
Fluent?
Yes.
I didn't know you were fluent in Albanian.
Well, when was it going to come up?
That last time when I was talking in Albanian?
It was my first language.
Really?
Yeah.
Mine too. Small world. This whole time I've been talking to you in English.
We could have been, we could have been talking shit. Here's a great thing about speaking Albanian. Nobody else fucking speaks it. So if you could be in the middle of a grocery store saying the most heinous shit about like the Asians, the black, whatever. Nobody's going to know. And you just smile at them. You go, yes.
Does Rose speak Albanian? Rose from the Comedy Store? Do you know?
I
Did you
think
get to
she-
actually meet her?
I did. She's real cool. I got to hang out with her a little bit. I think she does.
For anyone who's not familiar, Rose is a bartender at the Comedy Store, and she's really great, and she's Albanian.
Yes.
And so when we found out that
I'm Leonarda.
Leonarda was Albanian, all of us were like, you got to meet Rose.
Yeah,
'cause-
everybody all of a sudden was like, "That's why you remind me of Rose." I'm like, "Oh yes, we're all the same." But then I got it. I saw her.
yeah,
I
and
was
then
like,
we're all at Skankfest.
yes, and I met her there.
Yeah, and then
And then when I went to LA, I stopped at the Comedy Store and I saw her.
oh, you guys got to chat at the
Yes.
Comedy Store. Nice. Yeah, I've always liked her.
Yeah, she's real cool.
Yeah, she's one of my
She
favorite.
probably does speak Albanian. Almost every Albanian speaks Albanian.
Yeah.
Even down to the second generation.
And what language is it similar to?
None. It's its own branch on the Indo-European tree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys are related to the Greeks,
Yes.
and who else?
I mean, it's hard to say because it's like there was a group of the ancestors of the Greeks, the Albanians, and the Italians are called the Illyrians. But then they're not, they kind of branched off,
Mhm.
right? So it's this one tribe that these three nationalities really came from.
Are you guys mountain people?
There are mountain people. There are mountain Albanians, but Albania, the country is so diverse with the territory. It's all white, so nobody freak out about that. we don't have Zogs running our country, so we keep it pure. And no Mexicans. We do our own dishes. And so but there's like a wide range of the landscape. There's like mountains in the north, which are really beautiful. They kind of look like the Swiss Alps. But then when you go to the south, it's just the Adriatic Sea, and it looks like Greece. It's beautiful.
Is there a lot of money there? Do people know?
No.
What? How big is it? Is there a state that it compares to, or
It's a good question. I don't know.
Yeah.
I really don't know that. It was bigger, but some of our land got taken away by the Zog.
Really?
Not by the Zog. I don't know who got taken away, but 1914, the treaty after World War I, divided up some Albanian territories and put them in the surrounding countries, and that it's not theirs because that land is still predominantly occupied by Albanians.
And so, what are you? Are you first generation?
I am first generation. That is
Okay.
correct. Yes.
So your parents came here before. What about your siblings? Are all of them born in the United States?
So me and my older brother were born over there.
Oh, you were born in Albania.
Yeah, in Montenegro. Because remember I told you the land got moved.
Yeah.
So it got put into, but it's Albanian land. But we were born in Montenegro, and then my two youngest brothers were born here.
And then you grew up. What's it called? That one religion that wants to kill me.
That's all the religions, sweetie.
It kind of is. Good question. Making sure everybody's paying attention at home. If you're playing along at home, take a drink.
Every religion, sweetie. I grew up Muslim. That's correct.
Yeah.
I did grow up Muslim, but it's weird because Albanians are culturally Muslim. They've never really embraced that religion because it doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really fit European sensibilities in a lot of ways, and it was forced upon them during, this is going to bore you and your audience. It was forced upon them during the Ottoman invasion. You should just start going to sleep at this point.
I need an Ottoman. That reminds me, I need an Ottoman.
It was forced upon them during when the Turks
This
came in.
apartment could use an Ottoman invasion.
This
I'll tell you
apartment
that.
can use.
This apartment could use an Ottoman invasion, to tell you the truth.
Yeah. This apartment should be converted to Islam. First of all, we start with those anal beads.
Haram. I watch YouTube. I watch
You watch videos of the men that want to kill you. You're like, just eating popcorn.
Yeah, well, if it ain't dangerous, I don't want it. I gotta feel like you might kill me. You have a joke about that. You know how it goes.
What's my joke? Yes. Come on now.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little danger.
Yeah. If you don't feel like they can kill you, you're not gonna come.
Honestly, it's been one of my problems.
Yeah. Well,
So one of my problems, and then I'm like, why do I always date sociopaths? I don't get it. I'm like, well, if you can't make me almost pass out because I think you're gonna strangle me to death, I don't want you. But why do I get sociopath? It's like, get it together, bitch.
But yeah, so you were saying,
Islam was forced in the Albanians, so they never fully embraced it. It became like a cultural thing. I mean, pretty much the only thing that you can say consistently amongst Muslim Albanians is they don't eat pork. And even that, in the newest generations, they're like, bacon is so good.
But you guys do eat lamb?
Yeah. Lamb's,
Okay.
Yeah, and lamb's delicious.
Yeah, no, I love lamb. That's why I asked about that specifically. Yeah, I don't know anything about what's it called, like that, but like that's a similar situation with Mexicans and Catholicism.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because the Spaniards came.
And forced it upon you.
Yeah, and so, I don't know if it was all like what it was before that, if it was all, like chopping off heads and throwing them down pyramids.
Yeah, you guys were Aztecs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean, like a lot of Mexicans are still halfway witchcraft,
That's true.
Yeah, they'll do, I mean, like they're Catholic, and it's almost like what you're describing,
Right.
Where it's like a lot of, the Catholic principles are there, but then
Right.
there's also the wild from
But
them.
you guys seem to be so into it, like church and the pictures in a Mexican person's walls,
It's
like
because it's pretty. It really, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the stained glass.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the way the Catholic churches are and stuff
Yeah,
like that, and
they're beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, and so that's why it is. But
Okay.
it's really not as like, like that's the joke with Mexicans, like they go do all the fucking stuff that they shouldn't be doing.
Right, but
And then
they
on
come home,
Sunday they showed up to church
they're
and
like
act
La
like
Virgin.
yeah, they get the fucking communion and you know what I mean? And
That's funny.
I used to go to church regularly and then they pissed me off. And then so at a point you just went your own way and were like, I don't want to be was it like was it a big declaration or did you just kind of move out? I mean of being Muslim.
I did make a big declaration at 16 because I found out how we had been forced to be converted.
Okay.
And I found out some of the things they had to say about women, which I didn't like. So I came down to my parents and I was like, I would like everybody here to know that I am no longer Muslim. And my parents looked at me and then just went back to reading the newspaper.
Okay. I thought they were going to stone you.
No, they were just like, she's on another one. They're just
Yeah.
used to my
Your
antics.
antics. Yeah. That's what it is.
Know?
Is
It was
antics
like,
at
oh,
that
she
age.
watched another 2020 special. Last
Yeah.
week it was the bacteria in the cutting boards. This week she's not Muslim. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, but you stuck to it.
I did. Well, I just really didn't agree. And then I became kind of agnostic, which is you're not sure. And, I started to explore lots of things. I explored Hinduism, Buddhism. I went to a Catholic university.
Racism.
That's
You have a thing for isms.
That's been around from the beginning. It's funny. I forgot I was talking to a friend yesterday and I was going through my timeline and I go, yeah, but then I wasn't as racist as I am now. Like now I really am. And he goes, Leonarda, the way we make amends is by becoming who we were truly meant to be.
So great.
It was so funny.
But so you went Buddhism.
I did
Hinduism?
all the New Age stuff. I was in New Age stuff for a bunch. I mean, I went to a Jesuit university, which I loved.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. I'd go to church there. I loved listening to the priests there. I didn't know they were touching kids, but their sermons were great. And I was like, maybe there was a butthole that inspired this. And they had great sermons, and I liked it. It really felt nourishing. And then after college, I was in the acting world and a friend tried to bring me to a Kabbalah thing. I couldn't. It was totally like a Scientology scam.
Oh, I went to a Kabbalah thing before.
So scam, right?
Well,
Cult?
I went to the one in Beverly Hills. Well, right in Hollywood, like the main one.
Okay.
The main one for the brand Kabbalah.
Right.
Because, there's Kabbalah and then there's the brand.
Right.
And so I went to the main one that was basically like their version of what would be Scientology Celebrity Center.
Yes.
And it was weird because you could tell nobody was paying attention and nobody could concentrate because everybody thought Madonna was going to jump out or Demi Moore or any of the... Because, at the time there were a lot of high profile...
Kabbalists.
Yeah, like at that time, that's when... Which... I don't know if all of them went their own way and no longer practice or what happened with that, but it really fell out of favor as far as the general public went, and for no reason, it just kind of...
Well, it was a fraud.
Was that what it was?
Yeah, I mean, I went to one. This girl invited me to it, and she was always trying to get me into things.
Yeah.
She was an
I know
older
those
woman.
friends.
She was like, ayahuasca. She was trying to get me into ayahuasca before ayahuasca was like as hot as it is now.
Yeah.
She was like, and then she started talking about it like she already was in that world. She had done it so many times. She's like, Aya will talk to you and she'll show you what you need to know. And I'm like, who the fuck is Aya? She's like, oh, it's the spirit of ayahuasca. I was like, that's enough. I don't need this. And I went to a Kabbalah thing, and they were like, this like charismatic guy who I'm pretty sure was sleeping with all the hot young women was up there giving a lecture about like, I could do this, I could give into this impulse, but I know that if I don't, then I can have the light, and having the light is what brings the light from you to the light. And I was like, what is this fucking light? And that sounds like a cult. So I left. So but I used to go to like all those like bookshops that had all the new age stuff and the incense and the psychics. I went to see this Hindu guru named Amma. She's a big fat Indian woman. And she was very big in New York. She'd come in, and all the hippie, liberal white women would love to go there. I was one of them. And it would be like, we're chanting. And we're like chanting to like demonic Hindu gods, you know? And then it's clearly a scam.
Mm-hmm.
It's clearly a scam. It's another Indian scam where they come over and they tell all the white people, I'm a guru. And she doesn't even say anything. She just sits up there and just collects all this money. You got to pay to go there. So I went to that. You know, I did that whole thing. I got a mantra, the whole thing.
That's what they do in China too, though, to tell you the truth, except for you go to the temples and everybody leaves money there.
Yeah.
And then you see the monks driving around in Maserati. No bullshit. And since it's China, that's one of the things that makes it so impressive, is because it's so expensive to get a Maserati over there. And so it's like money on top of money. So they're paying way more for a Maserati, where a Maserati is definitely a status symbol here.
Right.
It's really one there because you had to pay to have it shipped over. And so, yeah, and that's the way and that's why a lot of people in China, the well-informed ones, because, there's a lot of people that really, if you want to talk about ignorance is bliss, you go to China. Because there's a lot of people that they have no choice. They don't have access. They don't have money. There's no way, because Google isn't a thing there. They have Bing and they have Yahoo. Those are their two search engines. And the reason they have Bing and Yahoo is because Bing and Yahoo will both play by Xi Jinping's rules.
But Google won't.
Google will not. And so, like, everything's blocked, like when Xi Jinping got upset because of the comparisons to Winnie the Pooh.
I knew you were going to go there.
Winnie the Pooh got yanked. It's like you couldn't search Winnie the Pooh. And so, but yeah, so when a lot of well-informed people from China or that have been to China hear about the like free Tibet movement, people get like, yeah, there is that side of it. But there's also the side that the monks started to live like rock stars. And the Chinese government saw that as a threat because they believe in one China. And when they've got one China and one leader, and then you've got all these others that are becoming leaders in their own right, that needs to get shut down. And
so the Free Tibet movement is just really about Maseratis?
100%.
I didn't know. So it's the Tibetan monks?
Yeah, the Tibetan monks. And when you're in China, if you perform in China, there's the 3 T's. You're not allowed to say the 3 T's. That's what you're told when you get there. So it's no, Taiwan, Tibet, or Tiananmen.
Gotcha.
And it's not like the United States where it's like, I'm going to be naughty and say this. You say it, you're getting yanked off stage. Whether it's the security or if there happens to be somebody that works for the government there, you're definitely getting yanked off stage.
Wow.
It's not at all fun. They let me get away with it one time, but it was because a lady just asked me, because I didn't realize, because I'm dumb, and I've been told not to say those words, and I don't say it anyway. Like with me, I'm not political at all.
Right.
So like when they told me, I was like, yeah, okay. Like you don't have to worry about me saying that.
You're like, so gay butt sex, okay?
Yeah, and they were fine with it.
That's funny.
But this one lady, she said to talk. I said, I was being silly with them, and I was like, any questions? And then the lady yelled out, talk about the Tibetan something. And when how it's kind of almost a rule when you're doing crowd work that you repeat what the person said.
Right, because
and so I didn't even take it in fast enough. I just repeated it like it was what it was, which is what she said.
yeah.
And then right after I said it, I was like, oh, I get it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that was just you trying to get me to say that.
Right.
And so nobody made a deal of it because I didn't go into it. And,
Right.
Also because I'm good at letting the audience know I'm just as dumb as I am. So,
Not a threat.
I laughed.
Me, I would have been like, so you want to know about the Zod?
Yeah, I just laughed and was like, oh yeah, I get it. You made me say something I'm not supposed to say. And I was like, I don't know anything about that. And I really don't. I mean, like other than what I was told, Like Tiananmen, I don't know anything about that. But when it comes to a lot of that stuff, I don't know it. It's not a matter of like, because, one time Tim Dillon was joking about people from Arizona and said it really is a race to be to the bottom and to see who can be the dumbest. And there is that part of Arizona and that part of even me. I
Right.
don't get offended at all because that is kind of a thing. But when it comes to things like that, I don't usually bother learning them because I'm like, I don't really need to know how things work in China. I mean, I don't even have a full grasp of the way things work here. So
Oh, we're so different, dude.
why am I gonna go get all worldly
I'm
about
like,
it?
let me go learn about the oppression in parts of the world that I'll never be able to do anything about, which will just make me depressed. But let's do it anyway. That's a good idea. That's me.
Yeah.
It's not a good
Stop
idea.
doing it.
I know. I
It
know.
really, that's what you need to do is stop doing
know.
it. Try look.
But then I think, I always have this thought in the back of my mind. I'm like, so when the collapse happens and we're in guerrilla warfare and I need to figure out who's actually on my team, I have to ask them about the Zog. And if they don't answer correctly, it's out.
All I need to know is who's waving me over. That's how I know who's on my team.
You're like, I'm on your team.
The ones that are like, hey,
Get over here.
I'm like,
Yeah, just Colton.
well,
Col-
why else would they want me?
Colton and all his boys, like, get over here. We're being gay over here.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Colton and Dylan.
Colton, Dylan, the two Dylans.
Yeah, the two Dylans.
Oh,
But yeah, no, but luckily I have a lot of friends that are survivalist and that kind of thing. So, I always have that. Like, that's been very fortunate for me.
yeah.
Those people are always attracted to me. I mean, like, and not in a sexual way or anything, just friends.
That's okay too.
Yeah, that's fine too. Whatever it takes. I don't care. Even a little bit, like, whatever gets it done.
I mean, I don't have an OnlyFans, but I will sell this pussy for survival.
I hate you so much. I don't have a pussy, but I will sell it.
Who's the number one warlord? I am your lady.
Why not? Yeah. At that
Okay.
point, once
just-
it's the end of
I'll
the world,
just try to be
are
near
there
the...
principles?
No. There are no moral
Are there any more principles?
no moral principles, no standing.
Yeah, so like, what's it called? So that I'm very fortunate for because like even the latest what's it called? A friend of mine that I went to lunch with gave me her address and, on a card and was like, "Hey, if anything happens during this eclipse, grab the dogs," because I guess they were worried somewhat about the power grid during the eclipse.
Yep.
And
It never
so-
happens when they tell us it's going to happen.
Yeah, and so but she was just like, just in case anything happens, she was like, you and the dogs are welcome. Just head on over.
Wow, that's nice.
Yeah,
I'm
and
coming.
I get a lot of people like that, where it's every city I go to.
They all know you can't make it on your own.
I prefer people feel that way.
I
That's the other thing.
think nobody gives that to me because, like, this bitch has it. It's fine. We'll call her.
Yeah.
We need help.
Well, that's the other thing, the dumber you are, the more people do things for you. And
Yeah,
so
that's true. I haven't
it's
learned
like,
that either.
people people fuck themselves by being like, "Oh, I got it." I'm
Yeah.
like, "I know nothing." And then if nobody does it, then I'll do it. And then they'll be like, "Oh, I didn't think you know how to do that." And I'm like, "I'm not stupid. I just
Yeah, I just
would prefer you do it." I mean, come on.
It's all, yeah. True story.
Yeah, but it is what it is. So what do you have coming up? You've been on the road a lot.
I'm going back on the road. I'm going to New York tomorrow.
Okay.
Doing a bunch of gigs there. Then next week I'll be in LA and I'll be hitting San Francisco, Tucson. I'm gonna go to Yuma.
Are you doing Chuckleheads in you? No, that's
don't-
Bisbee.
Think so. Where the person I'm on tour with books a bunch of random places where he can sell his own tickets
Mm-hmm.
and then takes the door.
Yeah, I
So,
wonder what you guys are doing in Tucson.
I don't know what we're doing. And then going back to LA, and then there might be a meeting of white nationalists that I'm attending.
You and Tila Tequila.
Who's dealing tequila?
You don't know Tila Tequila?
No.
You know nothing about pop, like
know
pop
nothing.
culture.
I
You're
know
not a pop
nothing.
culture person.
No.
I'll show you. She
Okay.
used to be super, super hot though. Like back in MySpace
Yeah.
days. And now, You know how people, when they're really on drugs, they're super hot and then they clean up and
Yes.
then suddenly,
No good.
yeah,
Yeah.
she's one of those.
Okay.
You know, and I think the amount of drug use eventually caught up with her, and so now she's not even all the way there anymore.
Right.
But you know, people love shitting on her still because of her past life, you know, when she was pop and
Right.
then she was doing a thing where she was claiming to be a Nazi for a while, and
Smart.
you guys have a lot of parallel.
Smart. It's a good move. Hey, you got to ride the wave.
Yeah, and so then now she's like, you know, she's still in some version of crazy, but I'm not sure what's going on with her. You know, there was a whole thing where she was engaged to the heiress of Johnson and Johnson when she died. I think her name
So
was
she's a lesbian.
Casey Johnson. She has renounced all of that. She was gay for pay, is what she says now. You know,
I
so
like this woman.
It was about money.
Sure.
Yeah, and so she would say, like, she had a show for a while, a reality show on VH1 that was called Shot at Love or Shot of Love.
Okay.
And it was the first reality show that was like The Bachelor, except for because she was bi, they had like 10 girls and 10 guys.
Sounds like a good time.
So you're mainly concentrating on the road, and then you've got
am.
Wrong Crowd.
I do have Wrong Crowd, the podcast. Everybody can go over to my YouTube channel. Leonarda is funny. I do brush my hair for that.
I'll probably edit this and put it at the beginning so people get all of this information at the beginning.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thank you.
because that makes
Yeah.
more sense.
Yeah, so I got Wrong Crowd. You know, people can follow my Twitter, Leonarda_Jonie, Jonie. But if you report me, I mean, you're a snitch.
Yeah.
It's for the fun of it, okay? We're having fun. We're having fun here, guys.
Can you report people on Twitter still?
I don't know.
Or X?
I have no idea.
I thought it was just Wild Wild West now.
It is a bit of the Wild Wild West. That's why it makes it so fun. You
Yeah,
know?
no, that's what
You let the liberal nerds in charge. It was so stuffy. Also, all these kids who are like, you know, doing all these movements and everything. It's like, you're gayer than your parents. Like, your parents are having more fun than. How are your parents cool? How are the kids the nerds now?
Yeah, well, because their parents are me. They are, you know what I mean? I'm those kids' parents' age, really.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're fun because we were Gen X or our Gen X, and
Right.
it was like, you know, we had the best of it because, you know, Gen X people try to talk shit every once in a while, but we really did have a good thing because for the most part, you know, every once in a while you'd meet a homophobe or whatever that was serious about it, but for the most part, everybody was cool, everybody was fun. The people that have blue hair, pink hair, you know, super red hair, those were all the cool people.
Yep.
Usually they were hags that knew to chill and know their space, you know, because it's nothing wrong with telling certain people that they really should know their space, you know, because
Right.
now we have people that are not technically lesbian, gay, or bisexual, but they're the ones trying to tell us the rules. And it's like, one, you're 12.
Thank you.
So I don't listen to you even on just regular life advice. Two, I've been out forever. I've been out probably twice your lifespan at this point. And, you know, I'm supposed to listen to you. You're
Just make
gonna tell
everything
me-
boring.
Yeah. And that's the thing. You can't have fun. You can't be silly. And that was one of the most fun parts. Like when it comes to trans people, and I do all the like stuff I do about trans people online and stuff like that. And people don't get that's really because I have always had very cool trans friends. And I see these people fucking it up. And it's like, no, real trans people know better than you do what they are.
Right.
They are genetic males. They are genetic females. That's why they're in transition or transitioning or have transitioned.
Right.
But they do also realize, because a lot of them got smart, and where all these kids are trying to get, like, you know, on hormones and stuff. Yeah, once you get to the right age, hormones, if that's the way your brain really works and what you need, do that. Cool. But as far as a lot of the surgeries that these kids are getting, a lot of grown trans people have opted not to do them. A lot of them have made the money for that a million times over. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
they're like, no, I don't want that because it's going to fuck up my sexual function. Also,
Oh, gee, chopping off your dick and balls would mess up your sexual function?
Yeah, well,
Who would have thought?
you used to have those liars that were telling you, oh, I still have all my sensation and it works just like that. And it's like, you're dilating all the time. You always have to dilate.
Right, because you have a gaping wound in
Yeah,
your
that's
body.
what it is. It's a wound. And like, so there's that. Then there's also the fact that, believe it or not, sometimes people grow into loving their bodies. And sometimes they're like, yeah, I've taken hormones and I've got, fake breast and, but they love that part of them too. They love that they're half and half and it's its own thing.
Right.
But they're not trying
Like
to
the
be.
Baphomet.
Well, nature. Look.
I'm a Christian now, just so everybody. We never got to that part
What
of my
we
journey.
not gonna do?
I'm a Christian
What
now,
we not gonna do?
and I am.
I'm not gay no more.
I'm not gay no more. I like women now.
I'm not gay.
I like pussy. It would have been so funny if he just went off. He's like, I eat pussy. I'm in the pussy. And everybody in church is like, it's a lot, but given where he's coming from, we got to accept
Yeah,
this.
just let him. The Holy Spirit has hit him. You gotta let people do whatever they do. But yeah, no. So it was great, and so now that's why I make the content that I make, is because I really do want us to get back closer to that. I know you can never go home,
Right.
but at the same time, if we can get closer to that, I feel like the whole world will kind of, be able
down.
to,
Yeah.
because you can mesh better, because that's what most people's problem is. Most people aren't truly homophobic, truly transphobic, truly even racist.
Right.
Most people just want to be able to feel like you're not bullshitting them, and also for you to allow them to have their thoughts and their beliefs,
Correct.
even if those don't jive 100% with yours.
Right. And to have their whites only space. That's what they want.
Well, I never minded that because usually I get invited everywhere that's cool. So
What? You don't want to come to the white cookout?
I'm like a prize-winning pig when I go to the Trump rallies. Everybody wants pictures with me, even if they don't have any idea I'm a comedian. They come on, let's take a picture. Look at this guy, honey. I'm gonna take a picture with him.
That's so funny.
But yeah, so I'm glad. Well, thank you for stopping by and
Thanks
doing
for
the
having
show.
me.
Yeah, and I'll make it look more like a set maybe next time you come. But
There's going to be a next time?
yeah.
Just because he's running out of friends. Nobody talks to him anymore. It's okay. Nobody talks to me anymore either, so I'm fine.
People would love to think they don't talk to me. The problem is I never talk to them to begin with.
I'm too busy.
Remember that one time I was walking through the creek before anything happened? I was like, leave me alone, I'm busy. And
Yeah,
no one
I
was even
remember.
trying-
Nobody's talking to
Yeah, nobody was even around me.
See, that's what I miss. See, that's what I'm upset about with you, because I don't go hang out there anymore because it's not fun for me.
Yeah, well, we were fun there. That's why they fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I tell everybody, like everybody.
I tell everybody, all
the
five
five people I talk to, yeah. But I
Well,
tell
we
people all the
were.
time, like Rebecca had a good thing with us because we would show up, do sets, be fun for a little while,
Right.
take off. We were
Right.
the perfect guest,
We really were.
We never made trouble while we were there. It wasn't like there was a
nobody.
situation where it was like, oh, they're always getting into it with people.
Never.
Everybody was cool with us on the patio, and then
And we made it fun for everybody around.
It really was.
It was a good time, and they'd be like, "Wow, if Leonarda and Ty are here." Really, it was like, if Ty's here, nobody cared. But they were like, "Sure."
You.
And I'm like, "Me too." They're like, "Yeah, you too." And it was fun, and then we'd have like a little circle where we could, it was like a real sense of community. You know?
Yeah.
And now it's like, who am I going to talk to? Like, you guys don't have any balls. You don't get it.
Yeah.
You're way younger in comedy years and years. And so there's nothing for me to really hang out with you about. you
Yeah.
know?
Well, every once in a while somebody will try to tell me that people don't talk to me. And it's like, I never talk to those people.
Right.
So it's not like that wasn't their choice.
Right.
It's like, yeah, maybe that's what they say now.
Right.
But they talking to me was never an option. It wasn't like I was there for them or like, trying to be friends with them or whatever. I passed by a bunch of those people a million times and,
Nothing.
never said hi or,
Yeah.
and I wasn't being snotty. It's just we don't live in the same world. I'm not going to pretend that I'm the same as a lot of people, you know? And so
Equality is a myth.
it really is.
It's,
And nobody wants to be equal anyway.
no, they don't. They want to be superior. The reason that the people that push the hardest for equality are at the lowest, and they're just trying to bring people they perceive above them down.
Yeah, well, that's evidenced by the way that the LGBT movement has turned, because it started off as being wanting equality,
Right.
and now it's turned into you're going to listen to every single thing I say.
Exactly.
You're going to live the way I tell you to live. And
Yep.
it's like, wait, that's not equality.
Yep.
That was not what.
Equality was always a lie.
That's why I kind of bowed out completely of the LGBT as that machine or as the community in that way.
Yep.
I bowed out of that completely because I'm like, okay, well, if you ask me, you guys are violating 48 laws of power right now. You're not supposed to go past your mark.
And that's why he'll be one of the ones we save.
Well, from one of the ones that's going to be saved, everybody, thank Leonarda for coming out. We appreciate you, Leonarda.
Thanks for having me, everybody.
Yeah, I really do appreciate you taking the time. And everybody, I will see you on the solo episode of Unbothered this week. And then I'll have my co-host back, Bijou, aka Snoopy Bijou, and DJ Lindy. Stay unbothered, everybody.
Everything bothers him.
He's unbothered.
He calls it unbothered, but that's what's cute because everything bothers him. He's bothered. I'm a botherina.